everyone, I wanted to take the time to try to go over the animation portion of class because I know a lot of people were having struggles with that and that we didn't get to fully go over the code for the animation part, so I'll go over that as well. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over here and create an empty object. So this will be like the container for whatever object we have in there, and then we're going to create a 3D object. It can be whatever you used for your pickups, so like cube, sphere, capsule, whatever. So I'm just going to create a cube, call it pickup. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to make a prefab, but we're going to make a prefab of the container object, so of that empty object. So I'm going to bring it over here into our prefab. And since this one's kind of like in the ground, I'm just going to bring a new one out here and get rid of this old one. Just because I don't feel like fixing that at the moment. And so the next thing that we're going to want to do is, you can see I already have my animator and my animation tabs open. If you don't, you can go to Window and go to Animation, and you can bring up Animation Animator. And when you bring up Animation, it's suggested that you drag it down here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Create, and then I'm going to create an Animator Controller. And I'll just name this Pickup for Pickup Controller. And what we're going to do after that is we're going to go into the prefab of the container. We're going to add a component, and we are going to add an animator. And what we're going to do here is that controller that we just made, we're going to drag that right into there. And now the next part you can either do just with going here and going to create, and then going to animation. There's other ways that you can do it, but I just do this. You create an animation, we'll call it idle 2. And I'm going to preemptively also make the second dead animation as well, just so we have them both there. And then I'm going to go into my pickup controller in my animator, so you'll see that right here. And I'm just going to drag that idle 2 in there. I'm going to drag the idle 2 first, so first that's what pops up. I'll drag the dead 2 in there for now too, and we'll work with that later. While we're at it too, just because this doesn't already have a trigger on it, I'm going to put that. And then we're going to go into our idle 2 animation. And I clicked on the container. We're still in prefab mode. So I clicked on the container, and I'm going to go to Add Property, and then I'm going to go to Pickup. We're going to add a property to the pickup, not to the container itself. So we're going to go Pickup, Transform, Position. And you can do this with the other transforms too, so I'll show you how to do it with rotation as well. And then I'm just going to go like 30 seconds in, and then I am going to click on the pickup, and I am going to change that position to 2. And then go down here, right click, and click Add Key. And that is all there is to that. I'll do the same with the pickup, and then I'll add a rotation to it too. So we'll add that. You see it adds another key there for rotation. And then I'll just go right to that same one, and then I'll just change the rotation. I kind of want it to do a lot, so I'm just gonna make all of these 270 to make it fun. And then go down here again, right click, add a key, and then we will have our new animation. And so we've got all of that set, all of that's there. And now we also, for the dead animation, we had a particle system. So I am going to right click on that container. I'm going to go to Effects and Particle System, and I'm going to add a particle system. You're going to want to turn looping off. You're going to want to go to the start color and just like change the color, because if it's white you're probably not going to see it as well. So I'm going to change it to like light blue, so it's something that I see. You can also mess with the size, mess with anything that you want here. You're going to want to go into emission, and you're going to want to click that plus sign. You don't have to do anything with that, just make sure you click this little plus and add a burst. And then rate over time, you're going to set that to 0. And so we've got our particle system set up, but we are going to turn this off. The particle system is going to be turned off for now, so that's not something that we're going to have on yet. And so now, if I want to, I'll just go over to the Dead 2 animation. Go to this. Actually, I'll just do it this way. You can also just go here and switch between the animations that are on this. I'm going to go to Add Property, go to Particle System, and I'm going to go to Is Active. I am going to delete this N key. We don't need it. We just need the first two. So we're going to have one here and one on 1 second. And we're just going to turn it to Is Active there. And then in order to get this all working, we're going to go into our animator. We're going to click on Idle 2. Right click and then click Make Transition and drag that over to Dead 2. So now we've got that transition here, but there's more that you need to do to it than just that. And also, I don't know if I mentioned it, so when you first go into, we'll save that real quick. When you first go into this, it'll have a loop time thing. So if you want it to loop, you're going to turn that on. For the Idle 2 animation, we're going to turn that looping on. But for the Dead 2, do not have a loop time on. We do not want that to loop. But back to the transition. So you're going to click on that line that you just made. And you're going to see this little conditions under here. And we're going to make a trigger. So we're going to go over to parameters. I believe we can just do, oh yeah, it's over here. It's add, and then you go trigger. And then just name it whatever you might like. I'm going to name it trigger 3. Because I already have some triggers named. But so we're going to go over here. And we're going to have the plus sign and trigger 3. We can get rid of this one because I didn't have anything there yet. And then in the settings, we do not need an exit time. So unclick has exit time. So that gets rid of that, and we've got our trigger all set up. We've got all of this set up for our animation, but you may be wondering, we're gonna go to the scene. We're gonna click play. Waiting for it to play. And then we're going to go over here and you're going to notice, well, one, it goes through it because I haven't actually set this up in the code yet. But if we actually had it all set up, we would notice that the particle system is not working for it. But as you can see, the rest of the animation is. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this. I made another tag called Pickup2, but this is just to show you guys, because I didn't want to show you on the ones that we already made in class. I wanted to show you on a new one, so you could make a new one if you'd like. And now I'm going to go into my code. And we are actually going to switch a few things about our code. So I'm going to go to my scripts, my player movement code that I've got open right here. And we're going to add a few lines of code. And the lines of code that you're going to add are right here. So it's going to be in wherever you have the ifother.gameObject.compare tag, and then if it's your pickup object or whichever object, it's going to check that one that has the tag. And we're going to add 2 lines of code, only 2. So we have animator, anim2, or you can name it whatever you like. The first one that we made in class was just called anim, but I'm making a new one, so I'm naming it anim2. Equals other.gameObject.getComponent in parent, because we want to get the component animator that is in the parent of that object, because the pickup is the one with the tag, and the container is the one with the animator, so we want to get the parent. And then we're just make sure to have those carets and the little parentheses after and your semicolon. And then we're just going to add one other line of code besides that. So it's anim2, or whatever you named your animator, dot set trigger, and then in parentheses whatever you named your trigger. And for this I named it trigger 3. So I'm just going to save that code. And I believe if I didn't skip any steps, that we should just have it working now. So this is going wild. And see, there's all the particles. You've got your animation up and running. If you have any questions on that, feel free to let me know. I'll show you the ones that we did in class too. They're over here, so it's the same thing, just you can mess around with it. But that is how you do the animations from class. I hope this was helpful. If you have any further questions on it, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to answer. And as always, feel free to reach out if you need help. I hope your assignments go well, and have a wonderful rest of your day.